I was about to marry my fiancé, then I overheard what she told her mother about me. The wedding was 3 hours away, and I was standing outside my own kitchen, frozen. I could hear my fiancé's voice through the door, low and shaking. She wasn't laughing. She wasn't excited. She sounded scared. Then I heard my name. And then I heard her mother say something that made my stomach drop to the floor. I had spent 2 years planning a life with this woman. In 60 seconds, I would learn something that would change everything I thought I knew about her. But I still didn't know if I should walk in, or walk away. My name is Jack Bennett. I'm 34 years old, and until that morning, I believed I was the luckiest man in Ohio. I grew up in a small house on Maple Street, the kind of place where the porch light stayed on until everyone was home. My father worked at the hardware store downtown for 30 years. He taught me that a promise is a promise, and that you don't quit on people you love. I met Emma Carter at a diner on a rainy Tuesday. She spilled coffee on my sleeve and apologized so many times I started laughing. 2 years later, I couldn't imagine my life without her. She remembered small things, how I liked my eggs, the anniversary of my mother's passing. She'd bring flowers to the cemetery without me even asking. That morning, I drove to her parents' house early to help set up chairs for the ceremony. The house smelled like fresh bread and roses. Everything was ready. Everyone was smiling. Except when I walked toward the kitchen, I heard something in Emma's voice I had never heard before. Fear. I stopped just outside the kitchen door. It was cracked open, and through the gap, I could see Emma standing at the counter, her hands pressed flat against the marble like she needed something solid to hold on to. Her mother, Diane, stood across from her, arms crossed, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. "You don't have to go through with this, Emma," Diane said. "It's not too late to tell him the truth." Emma shook her head. "I can't do that to him. Not today. He deserves to know what you did," Diane said. "Before he puts that ring on your finger." My chest tightened. "What you did." Those 3 words looped in my head like a siren. I thought about every quiet moment Emma had disappeared over the last few months, the phone calls she took outside, the evenings she came home late without much explanation, the folder she kept locked in her desk drawer she always called just work stuff. Diane's voice dropped lower, almost pleading. "He's a good man, Emma. Better than he knows." "I know exactly what he is," Emma said, her voice cracking. "That's why I have to protect him. Even if it costs me everything." I didn't move. I didn't breathe. Protect him from what? My mind raced through every terrible possibility. Was there someone else? Was she in some kind of trouble? I thought about walking straight into that kitchen and demanding answers. But something held me back, the sound of Emma's voice breaking, like she was carrying a weight too heavy for one person. "If he finds out from someone else, it will be worse," Diane said. "Nobody else knows," Emma said. "Only you. And Grandma Ruth's lawyer." A lawyer. My stomach turned. In 2 hours, I was supposed to stand in front of 100 people and promise my whole life to a woman who apparently needed a lawyer to hide something from me. I stepped back from the door, my hand pressed against the hallway wall. That's when I saw it, a manila folder on the side table by the coat rack, half open. My name was printed across the top in Emma's handwriting. Underneath it, a single word, surprise. I didn't touch it. My heart was pounding too hard to think straight. Then I heard footsteps coming toward the door, and I barely had time to step back into the hallway shadows before it opened. Emma walked out first, wiping her eyes with the back of her hand. Diane followed, her face pale, like she'd said something she couldn't take back. I stepped out of the shadows before I could stop myself. "Emma." She froze. "Jack. How long were you standing there?" "Long enough," I said. "What are you hiding from me?" Diane opened her mouth, but Emma raised a hand. "Mom, please. Let me tell him." She reached for the folder on the table, her fingers trembling. 6 months ago, Grandma Ruth left me a small inheritance. I wasn't going to tell you until today, But she also left instructions. She wanted me to use part of it to pay off the loan your father took out on the hardware store 15 years ago. The one he never told you about, because he didn't want you to worry. I felt the floor tilt beneath me. What loan? Your dad borrowed against the store to help pay for your mother's treatment, Emma said softly. He's been quietly paying it off ever since. Grandma Ruth wanted to help before she passed. I didn't tell you because I was afraid you'd feel like I was buying my way into your family instead of just loving you. Diane's voice cracked. I told her it wasn't her secret to keep. I told her the truth always finds its way out. I looked at the folder, then at Emma's face, still frightened, still waiting for me to say something. For a moment, none of us said anything. The house was so quiet I could hear the clock ticking in the hallway. Then I did the only thing that made sense. I pulled Emma into my arms. You weren't hiding something bad from me, I said. You were hiding something beautiful. You were protecting my father's pride, and mine, without asking for anything in return. Emma looked up at me, tears falling freely now. I was so scared you'd think I was trying to fix your family instead of just being part of it. You are part of it, I said. You have been since the day you spilled coffee on my sleeve. Diane stood in the doorway, her arms no longer crossed, her eyes wet. I'm sorry, Jack. I pushed her to tell you because I was scared for her, not because I doubted you. I just didn't want my daughter carrying a secret into her marriage. You don't have to apologize, I said. You were protecting her the same way she was protecting me. That's not betrayal. That's family. Later that afternoon, my father stood beside me at the altar as my best man, still believing he'd carried that weight alone for 15 years. I made a decision standing there in that kitchen. I would tell him myself, gently, after the wedding, so he'd know he was never really alone. When Emma walked down the aisle an hour later, I didn't see a woman with a secret. I saw a woman who had spent months quietly protecting the people she loved, asking for nothing in return. We said our vows under the old oak tree in her parents' backyard, the same tree Grandma Ruth used to sit under every summer. And as the sun went down over Maple Street, I understood something I'll never forget. The truth doesn't come to break a family apart. Sometimes it comes to hold one together. Sometimes the deepest love is the kind that protects you quietly, long before you ever know you needed it. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who still believes kindness can change the world. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment below.